Russian President Vladimir Putin tightening his grip today over Russian media. He says he's dissolving the state's main news agency and replacing it with an outlet that's designed to promote the Putin image at home and abroad. So what does that mean for Russia's future? For an answer, we're joined by Dr. William Pomeranz. He's the Deputy Director for the Kennan Institute for Advanced Russian Studies at the Wilson Center in Washington, D.C. Hi, Dr. Pomeranz.
Hi, glad to be here.
So let's talk about why this is happening now. What was the tipping point for the Kremlin to announce this change today?
Well, it's very unclear as to why they chose to announce it today. The public reason was that they did it really for financial reasons. They didn't have enough money to fund all the various different international news agencies, so therefore it was presented to a certain extent as a consolidation as well as something new. And it's true that Russia faces various financial difficulties going forward. But really the method by the way that they did this, they did not give any advance notice, there was no public discussion, it really came from out of the blue. And this of course allows people to read into these actions a lot of different motivations. And the most obvious one is that they want to control Russia's image abroad, and that this is very important in light of current events in Ukraine, but also in advance of the Sochi Olympics.
Right, and you mentioned Ukraine there, and one of the concerns is that unrest in the Ukraine could spill over, but I mean, how can you really insulate yourself from something like that given internet access and social media and all the different ways we get information now?
I don't think they necessarily can control access to information in Ukraine. That information will come into the country. I think what Russia really wants to do is have a medium whereby it puts forward its own message, and it wants to be able to shape that message and control that message. And at this point, they believe that in order to do that, they needed to make some drastic changes into how RIA Novosti, the news agency, is organized, and who's going to be the head of it.
Is there anyone who can challenge this sort of power play? Anyone in power in Russia or in the media who can really criticize this move?
Not really. Again, I think there's been kind of stony silence has greeted the decision to abolish RIA Novosti, but there really is no one who can stop such an action at this stage. President Putin did this by decree, and I should add that this is, if you take a broader picture of Russian politics, over the last 6 months, Putin has done this on several occasions. He has chosen to abolish the Academy of Sciences and to bring that under strict state control. And he has also chosen to abolish a part of the court system, the commercial court system. In all these cases, I think if you look at these actions collectively, I think you can see an example of Putin trying to assert control over broader sectors of society, including media, judiciary, and academia.
Now let's talk for a second quickly about Dmitry Kiselyov, the man who will now be in charge. He's a pretty controversial figure. What do we know about him?
Well, he's a very controversial figure. He's a person who believes in opinion news, as it were. And he's made some various controversial statements regarding the gay community and also regarding events in Ukraine, which he has likened to a conspiracy of Poland, Lithuania, and Sweden, something out of the beginning of the 18th century. So I think what you see is someone who's a very opinionated person, a very controversial person, and I assume from President Putin's perspective, someone who's going to stand up for Russia and to get Russia's message out from the state perspective.
All right, we'll see what that appointment brings. Doctor, thanks for joining us.